My name's Emil. I'm a digital strategist and I answer marketing questions. And today's question is about how and where to start with a brand new Facebook account, brand new everything. I love this question because it comes across our desk all the time. And the question is from Reddit, from Mark's LSD. And here's the question: Newbie Question FB. I have a new FB page, new IG page, new web page, new product that I want to start advertising on Facebook. Should I just drive cold traffic to my product page? How should I proceed? Also, please note I am new to this and want to keep the first campaign as simple as possible. Simple is profitable, and I love this approach. So again, we help clients do this all the time, and here's my advice for when everything's new. In this video, I'm going to cover why I split Facebook into 4 different systems and how I focus on those. I'm going to give you actual KPIs so you can hit those and know that you're going in the right direction. It's a compass that I use for new accounts as well. And then for new campaign, simple structure to get you on your way. So let's jump into this. But first, every Sunday I send out one email that recaps all the marketing questions I answered that week. If you want to stay up to date on best practices, strategies, and become an overall stronger marketer, I think you would really enjoy this recap. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the newsletter and my YouTube channel. Now, back to the answer. When you go and start marketing online and everything is new, there's so many incoming data points to focus on that if you don't have a system in place, it can be total overload. So these are the top 4 metrics I think you should focus on, and then how to use the data to better help you make long-term decisions. The thing to keep in mind, every new account will not be profitable in the beginning. Let me rephrase that. 99% will not be profitable. There's a lot of learning curve. But if you don't know which system to focus on, which one's causing issues in the account, which one's helping the account, then you could change the wrong parameters. So this is how the metrics I focus on and how I use the data to better inform my decisions. First is audience. Who we target is incredibly important, but it's not complex. And I'll give you some concepts behind that. The next is the ads themselves. The ads have to be able to convey through imagery or video the intent of the product, but they also need to not be boring. This is incredibly important on Facebook and Instagram. The offer has to be absolutely in place with the product that you're selling. This is quite often one of the most murky areas that people wade into and not adjust quickly enough. And then finally, the site itself, the site performance. And there is a KPI that I go by just to know how the site's performing when there's no data available. So the reason I separate it like this, audience, ads, offer, and site, is these are 4 lanes. And each one of these, you could actually hire an expert on each one of these if you needed to, rather than the whole ecosystem. So for instance, you have audience, which is targeting and messaging. You have ads, which is creative and ad copy. Then you have offer, which is market research. And then you have the website, which is conversion rate optimization and development and technical UX. I like splitting it up like this because if something is off and I know what KPIs to focus on, I can adjust just one of these, not the whole thing. And with new accounts, so often you see people pulling a lot of levers simultaneously, not understanding what an impact this has negatively, more often than not negatively. So for the audience, broader is better. So let's say your product is selling iPhone cases, right? Basically, everyone has an iPhone case, so or has an iPhone. So you don't need to target people who are in any specific niche. You can target if you're, depending on your case. If your case is a rugged case, target one ad group of construction workers. Target another group of active parents. Target another group of people who love the water. So what you're doing is you're trying to maximize how many people are you're targeting, but you're not trying to do the work of the algorithm yourself. The algorithm, since just January of 2021, has changed so many times. It has so many issues that the broader is better. So established accounts, quite often in ours, don't have any targeting. They're using historical data and conversion-based metrics to go find new audiences. Since you don't have that, you just want big, broad audience. So think about a handful of top groups, one interest group that may like your product or more than likely would like your product, and that's where to start. The next is the ads. So the ads, I highly recommend using video and really good product imagery in that video, but have a few different versions of your product, and try not to use stock photos or stock images. Make sure this is something that you have in your hand and you can continuously update the creative on it. And then when you're running your ads, you want to shoot for a CTR, a unique CTR for link clicks, not overall click-through rate where somebody expands the image or video or looks at the comments, but goes to your site. You want to optimize for 1.5% or more click-through rate. That means out of 100 people, 1.5% of them will click your ad. Facebook is 0.8% is the average. If you can get above the average, you know that your targeting is on point and you know that the ad copy / creative is doing its job. Really, you want to get to the 2, 3, 4%, which is some really nice territory and profitable campaigns, but start at 1.5. If you get, 500 to 1,000 impressions, and you're at like 0.1, 0.2%, you got to change up the creative, the targeting, the ad copy. But I would just start on 1, and then if that doesn't move the needle, move to the next. Next, the offer. Since you're completely new, be absolutely realistic with yourself. Every new business needs to take a hit into the sack, really. Like, your goal is to go around, to go and find as many people to convert on your page so you can train the algorithm. I highly recommend, don't try to be profitable. Try to break even or lose an acceptable amount of money converting people in the beginning. If you can get 25 to 50 sales and you break even, you're doing absolutely great. I see a bunch of gurus selling courses that tell you can make $100,000 tomorrow. F them, no you can't. And the people who do, I would say it's like winning the lotto. And lastly, think about this offer from the user's perspective. They've never heard of you. They've had no experience. Your site may have some trust issues, just never having that brand name. Nobody's been there. There's no active reviews. So you have to compete in the space where you can, which is the price. I tell everybody, if the product goes for $20, everyone sells it for $20, sell it for 15, and you will start moving product like this. It's not affordable, but that's what startup capital is about. You can get into this cheap, but there's monsters out there competing with you. People who are spending $50, $100, $200,000 a day across multiple platforms. That's who you're competing with. So if you've got a commodity product or you're a drop shipper or you have limited supply, but it's a good rate, start getting those conversions, priming the engine. Lose the money now so you can make lots of money later. And lastly, your website metrics. Make sure Google Analytics is installed and make sure you've set up at least 2 to 3 goals. Here's what a goal is, just a conversion on page. One goal is anybody who's been on your site for 50 seconds or longer, that's a micro conversion. They're actually interested in what you have to offer. Most often when you run ads, you'll see lots of zeros, like somebody sees the ad, clicks it, immediately bounces back off, they didn't like it. You want to optimize for people who are on your page 45 to 50 seconds is the first conversion. The second is, of course, adding to cart, which is absolutely critical. And the third goal would be going to checkout and processing the order. What you're going to do is you're going to have to stair-step conversion. So your first conversion is getting a lot more people who are interested in the offer. Second one is getting people add to cart. And the third one is to getting the purchase. And that's where the vast majority of the training is happening. And the reason you want to do this in Google Analytics is because there is no such thing as a Facebook-only business. At that point, you're not a business, you're Facebook, right? Facebook owns your business. You want to be able to go to Google, you want to be able to go to Bing, you want to be able to go to Snapchat or TikTok, and you want to have some base metrics of what works and what doesn't. So priming your account now to be able to expand later is also critical. I've seen plenty of people who have massive success on Facebook, the kind of success that you're probably after, and then they go to Google, and it's like they're a brand new business on Google because they put all their energy, effort, heart, and soul into Facebook. So optimizing for micro conversions and tracking them in Google Analytics, not focusing on the Facebook metrics solely, will be the last thing that really gets you across that finish line. And from there, this is the campaign structure. I always recommend to new campaigns in the light of all the events here. My advice would have been different a year ago or a year and a half ago. First, start a campaign and absolutely cold traffic. You want a conversions campaign. You want 3 ad groups that you're broadly targeting, and you want a DCA with 3 images and 1 video. DCA means dynamic creative, where Facebook's going to rotate images, video, and ad copy, which you want 3 ad lines and 3 text, to a cold audience. And then you're going to open up one ad group that is just retargeting. Anybody who's engaged with your page, or anybody who's engaged with your post, your Instagram post, or anybody who's been on your page and was there for longer than 50 seconds. You can use Google Analytics to kind of bring them into that funnel, or anybody who's added to cart. So now you have 3 broad targets, and you're going to see how they perform, and then you have a retargeting, because you always have to retarget. Very rarely do people buy on the first purchase. There's a lot more to it with top, middle, and bottom funnel, sales cycles, multi-touch campaigns, messenger, video views. There's so many elements to go down, but the simplicity of it, start with this, spend what you can, and just be competitive on price, because that's all you have currently. Make sure that you are reasonably priced. And it's okay to start a campaign where you're 5% lower than everybody else, or 10% lower than everybody else, taking the hit to establish a name brand, get reviews, and then slowly build your email list, which is critical, and get your sales tracked through Facebook conversions and Google conversions. I truly hoped this helped. Please let me know if there's any other questions. And as always, good luck, happy marketing, and please, if you have a moment, subscribe below. Thank you so much.